some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
When it comes to the ruler of the Republican Party, that being Donald John Trump.
Look, he is who he is. Would I hire him to run a company for me? No.
Dallas Mavericks owner and famed businessman Mark Cuban sees the man's tenure as problematic.
When our players in the NBA, do what's in their heart, when they do what they feel, represents who they are, and look to move this country forward when it comes to race relationships, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Because you see, he believes in athletes expressing themselves for the greater good.
People don't want to see all of the politics. They've got enough politics with me and with everybody else. And they don't want to see it with football and sports on Sunday or whenever they happen to be watching.
Trump views black lives under the umbrella of politics.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. We have no choice. We have no choice.
Terrible policies that harm everyday Americans, like his racist bullhorning, rub Cuban the wrong way.
Right, what he's doing socially, immigration, the EPA, who knows what's real and what's not, rounding up immigrants that are legally here. I think his implementation and execution of stuff is severely lacking, and I don't think they're thought through.
And he's right. Trump has been disastrous for the greater good. That is, of course, if you're a selfish white guy.
How does this ever accept money from a foreign government to pay the bond or their fines or?
No, I don't do that. I think you'd be allowed to, possibly. I don't know.
Not necessarily a direct no answer here, which leads to another huge issue. Donald Trump and his businesses could be greatly influenced, and they are willing to strip the country for parts to benefit them and their donors.
If Donald Trump, who rips off people for thousands, gets offered by some dictator somewhere, some despot somewhere, $20 billion, you think he's going to do what's right for the country? Or do you think he's going to take the money? Do you think he's got the fortitude to do the right thing? Do you think he cares more about you or his bank account?
Glad someone is saying it. Cuban hits the nail on the head here. Considering Trump's infatuation with money over people, this is the outcome.
I'll tell you something, though, and it's fair to lock them up. You should lock them up. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary. Lock them up.
Remember when he gave a quote recently that he never said this? A blatant lie. But that's what you get when the subject can't help him or herself.
I think the bigger overriding problem is in terms of leadership and management and personal issues for him. I don't think he's a leader.
Another checkmate from the Mavs man. Trump lacks leadership in almost every area other than himself. He is driven for his own benefit, no matter what the case may be.
People also say, can you bring the country together? And the answer is yes. Success will bring the country together because I had it together. Before the China virus came in, I had it together.
Excuses, 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 which Cuban sees through as well.
But he can't be playing the victim all the, Sean, this is what really bothers me about the president. He's the most powerful man in the world, and he always plays the victim card. The Dems are out to get me. The media is out to get me. You got to be the leader. You got to be the strongest man in the game. The man has got to be a leader, and he hasn't shown that yet.
And quite frankly, at 78 years old, he likely never will at this point.
I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. They don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
And they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me.
An abhorrent quote that will live in infamy, which just goes to show how distasteful this man has been for decades.
In order for things to change, then people need to take measures and understand, be very self-aware about what's going on with them and how people are living their lives.
And this is exactly what Trump cannot do. Step outside the box. Look at the bigger picture. and try to do his best to uplift as many people as possible. In turn, he makes direct policy to put them down.
He has no sense of balance. He has no situational awareness, and that's what gets him into so much trouble.
Without question. And there are a plethora of examples on this.
Hey, bud. Much fun. I love it. I love it. We having a good time? USA. USA.
Knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. People like me from previous months, okay? Total control. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing. You know what that is, right?
If I were starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black because I really believe they do have an actual advantage today.
Why do we want these people from, quote, all these whole countries here? Mr. Trump was referring to African nations and Haiti before suggesting the U.S. should have more people from places like Norway.
JD is kissing my ass. He wants my support.
Another fat Cuban called out some time ago.
You have to remember, the Republican J.D. Vance was very critical of President Trump during his time in the White House. He would put out tweets making remarks about some of the policies that the president had put out. It wasn't until Vance started to run for the primary that once he became endorsed by President Trump, he changed his tune quite a bit. He even went back and deleted some of those tweets that were critical of the president.
I think, frankly, that's a big problem with Trump, is that he diagnoses the problems in a very successful, very passionate way, but I don't see him as offering many solutions.
Here is what I really adore about Mark Cuban. He has taken on the likes of Elon Musk on Musk's own platform and has shown the effectiveness of diversity, equity, and inclusion, while Musk has railed against it. Surprise. Someone who comes from apartheid and probably wishes it still existed is hating on these things. He has said that he will not vote for Donald Trump. Among the billionaire class, let's call a spade, pretty rare. Do I like the sale of the Dallas Mavericks to Sheldon Adelson's wife? No, I do not. Do I like that he started a company, even though, let's be very clear, y'all know who I am, y'all know my politics. There should be Medicare for all. If every other developed country has it, why don't we? But I do like that he at least tried to lower prescription drug prices through his own company that he started. And there are times, I need to be very clear about this, and I don't even know why I need to say this, but just so it's not misconstrued, because I did a piece where I showed him in a glowing light. There are many times where I've disagreed with him, but it does appear, at least politically, in some aspects, that he is not, amongst the billionaire class, insane. Insane in standing up for that guy. The guy who tried to overthrow democracy and is trying to do it again through his loyalists and cronies. He has taken on Ted Cruz. He has taken on conservatives everywhere. And I do appreciate it, because in that position, the ultra wealthy position, not a popular position to take.